Welcome back to the channel. I'm Bad Gamer, and in this new little series, we are taking college football and conferences back to their best forms. So basically, I got an idea watching this YouTuber, can't think of his name, but he makes like different conference videos, different conference realignments and stuff like that. And I was watching one of his videos the other day, and it kind of gave me an idea to do this. So each conference, I tried to make that, tried to recreate to the best form that they probably made when the conference made the most sense. Like Big 12 is basically what it used to be before Texas decided to blow it up, and before or after A&M decided to blow it up. Go to Big 12 South, Texas, Oklahoma, A&M, Tech, Oklahoma State, Baylor. Big 12 North, Nebraska, Kansas State, Missouri, Colorado, Iowa State, Kansas. The Big 10 is Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State, Indiana, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Northwestern, Illinois, Purdue. CUSA doesn't matter. Basically, put all the leftover teams from like the American and random conferences into the Conference USA and the Sun Belt. The Mountain West is probably the best non-power conference in this. So we got Boise State, BYU, TCU, Utah, and that's it. I thought there was one more, but there's not. So you got TCU, Utah, and Boise State, three powerhouses back from when the BCS Busters. Each one of these teams were BCS Busters in their respective year. TCU beaten Wisconsin in the Rose Bowl, Oklahoma beaten, or Boise State beaten Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl, and Utah beaten Pitt in, I think, the Fiesta Bowl. The Pac 12 is the Pac 10, but it's probably what was the best formation of the Pac 12, which at the time was only called the Pac 10. Got Oregon, USC, UCLA, Arizona, Arizona State, Washington, Cal, Washington State, Stanford, and Oregon State. Then the SEC, we have the SEC East, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Vandy. SEC West, Ole Miss, Bama, Auburn, LSU, Arkansas, Mississippi State. Then Sunbelt is just leftover teams. I think I ended up putting an extra team in here because I tried to give every conference 9 conference games. I even did that to the SEC, even though they only played 8 when that conference had that structure. I think they needed to play extra conference games. There was another. Who did I add? I added New Mexico State to have a rival with New Mexico. Maybe that's who I added. Then the problem I had doing this is I really wanted to put. I had two problems actually. I really wanted to put Miami in the Big East. But if I put them in the Big East, which the Big East right now is Pitt, Syracuse, Houston, which was never in the Big East, but I needed to add another team, so I added Houston and SMU and Memphis because I feel like if Big East was probably still around, I think Memphis would. It was still considered a Power Six conference. Memphis probably would try to find a way to get in because they're just dying to get into a big conference. So it's Memphis, Louisville, Rutgers, USF, West Virginia, Temple, Cincinnati, UConn, SMU, Houston, Syracuse, and Pitt. The reason I couldn't put Miami in here because I wanted to do divisions for the ACC also. Well, to do that, I needed to add Miami, Virginia Tech, and Boston College to the ACC. So the Atlantic side of the ACC is Clemson, Maryland, Florida State, North Carolina State, Boston College, Wake Forest. Then the coastal is Miami, Duke, Virginia Tech, North Carolina, Georgia Tech, and Virginia. Then on the Big Ten, since I put Nebraska in the Big 12 North, I couldn't, and Maryland was in the ACC also. I couldn't find a way to do divisions for the Big Ten. So the Big Ten is 11 teams, I want to say. 11, I think it's 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11. It's 11 teams. It's Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State, Indiana, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Northwestern, Illinois, and Purdue. I, for some reason, wanted to take Penn State out and put them in the Big East, even though they never, that's not the Big East, even though they were never, I don't even think, rumored to be in the Big East. I think it was because that whole Joe Paterno conference thing, the airplane conference thing that Joe Paterno wanted to do at one point. I think that's why I was wanting to put them in the Big East. But I ended up not doing it. So, those are the conferences. And for the, you can see it says I'm controlling multiple teams. I'm controlling Kansas State, Maryland, Louisville, Kansas State, Wisconsin, Washington State, and Kentucky. Because we're going to take control of a team in each one of these Power 6 conferences. And we are going to see which team can not only dominate the conferences how they were meant to be dominated, we're going to see which one can dominate in the playoffs and have the most success in the college football playoffs, and see which one of these teams can make the best form version of their conferences be the most successful. I did Maryland because I've been wanting to do a Maryland down. I did Maryland because I've been wanting to do a Maryland dynasty. Kentucky, I don't know why I did Kentucky. The only reason I can think I did Kentucky was because there's really not a whole lot of options. Like if you go and look at the SEC, I've narrowed it down to 3. It was Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and Ole Miss. But Ole Miss was already, I think they're 6th to begin with this. I did send 2 years into the future, and Ole Miss is still ranked. But couldn't really find a team to do. I didn't really want to do Vandy because I feel like a lot of people are doing Vandy rebuilds, which I wasn't even going to play with David Parvia, so I guess I could have did Vandy. And I was thinking Ole Miss because Ole Miss has never had any relatively success. They haven't really had a lot of success before this year, really. I mean, Lane Kiffin's kind of got them to a respectable thing, but Lane Kiffin is now at LSU, so I'm curious to see if Ole Miss can continue off the success that Lane Kiffin built. Then I did Washington State for one reason and one reason only, because of Mike Leach. That is the only reason I picked Washington State, because I was also thinking of doing either Arizona or I think it was Oregon State I was choosing from. But I've already messed around. I kind of did Oregon State Dynasty. And Arizona, I didn't really want to do Arizona, so I did Washington State. I was also thinking about doing Oregon. Another way I was going to do this was just take each team that was the most dominant in the conference that they were known for and just do it that way. But I can't remember. I had a hard time choosing who was more successful. Was it USC or was it Oregon? Because USC did win the 2 straight natties, so kind of have to give it to USC. But I don't want to play as USC, so that's another reason I just went ahead and picked Washington State. I did Louisville because I always kind of like Louisville for some reason. I mean, they're not one of my favorite teams, but I don't really cheer against them. So I chose Louisville out of the Big East, which at this time was still technically a Power 6 conference, which really kind of, this one, conference formation, really not the best power conference. So that's why I added Memphis, SMU, and Houston to it. Then we chose Kansas State because Kansas State's never really had success unless it was Bill Snyder, and figured that would be fun to do Kansas State. Then Wisconsin. Wisconsin can never get over the hump. Hell, even TCU beat them in the Rose Bowl. So even when they should have smoked a Group of 5 team or a non-Power 6 team, however you want to, I can't remember how they used to say it back in the day. But even when they should have smoked the Group of 5 or Group of 6 team back in the day, they couldn't do it. That probably should have been an easy Rose Bowl win, but TCU had other thoughts. That's the reason I chose every team. I am probably not going to be able to, unless I just do play the moments, I'm probably not going to be able to fit every single game into the video. So each team's probably going to get its own little video. Then for the coaches, we have Adrian. No, that's Adrian. We have here, we'll just do this way. We have Adrian Freeman for Maryland. Adrian for Adrian Beltre. Freeman for Freddie Freeman. Kentucky, we have Rusty Gilmore. Rusty for Rusty Gill, or Rusty Grill. Rusty Grill, old Ranger player. Can't say his name all of a sudden. Then Gilmore for Happy Gilmore. I probably should have named this guy, which I may go change his name later on, post editing. Ryan Otto. Ryan for known Ryan Otto because I didn't feel like changing his last name. The Louisville head coach is John Wheeler. John for John Cena, I guess, even though it's spelled different. Wheeler for Nancy Walk 'em Down Wheeler. Kansas State, we have Bryce Matthews. Bryce for Bryce Underwood. Matthews for Gary Matthews Sr.? Or is it just Gary Matthews? The old Ranger player that made a hell of a catch one game. Then the Wisconsin coach is named Alan Hill. Alan for... Don't know why I chose Alan, to be honest. And Hill for... Taysom Hill. That was the name I was thinking of. So those are the coaches. We are going to recruit for each team. I'm going to try to find a way to do all recruiting, which recruiting is really not going to be. Probably not going to do recruiting updates for every single video. So most of the videos probably will just be gameplay. That's all that really matters. I'm probably just going to play the moments. Because if I just do play offense or play the whole game, it is going to take forever. Because 6 teams, we're doing 10-minute quarters. It's probably 3 hours worth of gameplay just if I just choose to play all the games. So that is going to be the baseline. Also, I'm not going to set any restrictions on recruiting. If I want to, I can come in here as Maryland and add however many 5 stars as I can. Yeah, I'm not going to do it, but I'm not going to set any restrictions on recruiting or anything. Because there's so many coaches. I'm curious to see what happens when we start going after... Each coach starts going after somewhat of the same players. I've done dynasties before with 2 coaches, but I've never done one with this many coaches, so I'm curious to see how this is going to go. The plan is to get all 6 into the playoffs. I don't know how that's going to go. Custom schedules. I'm going to try to make each one of them play another team at least once. So we'll make the ACC team. Wisconsin has a... Oh, they have a bye. Okay. Yeah, we're not playing week 0. Screw that. So we'll do Big Ten, ACC. Kansas State will play Washington State. Then Kentucky and Louisville already play each other, don't they? Okay. Then we'll make Kentucky play Kansas State. Louisville will play Wisconsin. Man, it sucks I can't do this week 1. That sucks. We'll do week 0. Even though I hate doing week 0 games, we'll do week 0. Oh, okay, so we gotta take a game off. We'll take the South Carolina game off. I thought we added Washington State to one of these. Okay, I could have swore we added Washington State. Oh, that's stupid. We should. I wish you could set when we play the rival games. Because I want to play the Apple Cup week 13, not week 3. Alright, who has a... I need to turn my sound off on my phone. Who has a game scheduled for week 1? Wisconsin does. Maryland does. Can't do Louisville. Okay, so that's not to be week 2. Okay. I think they were supposed to play Kansas, so I'll move Kansas to week 1. Alright, well that's wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alrighty, that's me, the schedules. Alrighty, that's gonna do it for this video. I'm gonna go ahead and set up recruiting. Then I will go ahead and probably make episode 1 and maybe episode 2. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe. Make sure you always keep looking up, because that's where it all is. And I will see you guys later. God bless you. Oh, damn, I went live and